Hello, everybody. Good to be here again. Nuggets and insights. Taking one tiny little point in the Torah story and looking at it from the positive intelligence lens. So let's continue. Something struck me, and that is when Jacob comes to Laban and he tells him that he wants to marry Rachel. And Laban says, okay, you're going to work 7 years to get Rachel, which Jacob agrees because he says he loves Rachel. At the wedding, Laban is playing a trick and bringing Leah to the bedroom instead of Rachel. There's all these midrashim and stories about what happened. Did Rachel know about it? Did she not? Did she help Leah? And so on. Putting that aside, it says that in the morning, and I'm going to read it in English, and it was in the morning that behold, it was Leah. Jacob is realizing that he just slept with Leah. And the very next thing, it says, so he said to Laban, wait a second, I'm missing something. It seems like that there is a span of time here between him realizing that it was Leah and now he's talking to Laban. So he must have got up, got dressed, went to a different house or a different tent. That absence of words speak volume for us to learn as Jewish people, but also from the lens of positive intelligence. Imagine for a second what he said to Leah. I think the text is not here because of the great empathy that he felt and therefore we feel toward Leah. In positive intelligence, the aspect of empathy is one of the 5 sage powers. Being empathetic toward someone else, putting ourselves in their shoes. And I think it's missing that story because it's telling us that he showed empathy and he went to the cause. He went to right to Laban, wanting to leave Leah out so we don't feel and don't see as much of her pain. That same idea comes again when Leah is able to have kids and Rachel is barren. So he marries Rachel and works another 7 years and marries Rachel, and Rachel cannot have children. And the text said, and I'm going to quote again, "Vatekaneh Rachel ba'achota," and Rachel became envious of her sister. And she is envious of her sister, which is a saboteur mindset. It's a negative feeling. In positive intelligence, she is totally on the survival brain. And she rushes to her husband and she pretty much is very angry. She tells her husband, bring me sons, give me children, otherwise I am dead. And here comes the first time and the only time that Jacob is mad at Rachel. And he says that. Jacob's anger flared up at Rachel. And he said, am I instead of God? Who has withheld you from you the fruit of your own womb? I'm not the one in charge, he says. In positive intelligence, what I'm realizing is happening here. She's coming with her saboteur mindset, and it is contagious. He gets into saboteur mindset. He gets angry with her. That teaches us something. When we're angry and we come to a situation, most likely is that we will awaken the saboteurs in the other person, unless that other person is very much in tune into their sage, and therefore they will be a little bit more empathetic. But he was angry, and it was head to head, the two of them. Jacob, through his life, realizing so much of how to go from a saboteur to sage, from being controlled by the negative emotions, and that separates us, into how we can become one. And indeed, at the very end of that Torah portion, they become one. He and Rachel and Leah. And it shows in the Hebrew word, when he decides to leave Laban, he takes the two women out to the field to discuss with them, to share with them the strategy. And it says, Vatan Rachel and Leah, which Vatan means replied, but in singular word, not replied plural. They become one. When you allow yourself to be, according to positive intelligence, in the sage mode, you look at the whole picture as one unit, as oneness with the family, with yourself, with the environment, with the spirit, with God. And when they do that, nothing can break them. And so they leave. And that is the insight that I had to share to you today. Separation versus oneness, and the power of the saboteur versus the sage contagious. Thank you.